What's up with the world? It's your boy CBJ. You're tuning into the Know It All Sports Podcast, and my co-host over here is
Coach Rudy. And today I will be yelling at the stupid people.
All right. Well, as always, we got a few topics we want to talk about. Quick question: are we doing FSBS today?
No, because I have too many stupid people that I'm yelling at.
Okay. So, where do you want to start?
With the stupid people.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a lot of stupid people out there. And in case you didn't know, you might be amongst them. Here's the reason why. So there are people out there who are still thinking that the Cowboys are going to win 11 or 12 games. Okay? They've conditioned themselves to the 16-game season thought process that 12 wins is impressive.
Okay.
Because for the 16-game season, 12 games is impressive. 12 and 4.
Right.
You win 3, you lose 1.
Right.
Well, this season's 17 games.
Right.
So that's a 12 and 5 record. Right now, the Cowboys are 5 and 1.
Right.
10 games left. To go with that, you would think that they'd be 6 and 4 for the rest of the 10 games.
Yeah.
That's stupid. You got 4 games against the NFC East left.
Yeah.
So let's say you lose one of those. Because in the history of the NFC East, I think it's like 3 or 4 times that a team has won all of the games against the NFC East.
Really?
Yeah, it's something stupid like that. It's something very low. Because it happened in the 90s one time, and we only won like 9 games, and like 8 of them were against the East.
Yeah.
And then it happened once or twice more within these last 15 years. With, I think, one time again with the Cowboys, and then once with a different team. So it's not been more than 4 times. Yeah. So let's say that the Cowboys blow one of those games. Okay? So that's 3 wins and 1 loss.
Yeah.
Okay? So you add that to their 5 and 1 record.
Yeah.
That makes them 8 and 2.
Right.
Right? So there's 7 games left.
Right.
Out of those 7 games, let's say they split. Okay. What do you think they're going to win? 4 or 5 games, right? Out of those 7.
Right.
So if they win 4, that gives you 14 wins.
Right. So the one thing, just because we were talking about the NFC East, I don't necessarily know, but I've noticed that like whenever
or 13 wins, but either way with it.
One thing I don't like is that they have a once you like going into the playoffs and say you're ending in a conference game. They tend to be like, oh well, we already have our spot solidified, so they let off, and that pisses me off when I hear teams do that.
But you know what? That's what this team, where it differs from other teams.
Yeah.
You know, so today one of the Cowboys got arrested. Their safety, Montel Kazee, he got arrested in Las Colinas, DWI, 3 a.m. this morning.
Yeah.
And some people are tomorrow in the radio shows are going to jump on and say, see, it's the same old Cowboys. The same old Cowboys.
Right.
They can't handle success. They're out there getting drunk. They're doing stupid stuff, getting themselves arrested. It's the same old Cowboys. That's what the narrative's going to be tomorrow.
Okay.
And once again, those people are stupid as well. There's 53 men on this team,
right,
not including the practice players. If you look around the league, any given day, there's going to be somebody that suffers from alcoholism. Now, I'm not saying Kazee does.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there's somebody that's drinking any
Someone
given day.
has a vice, yeah.
And there's going to be other players who are just young because this is a young man's game.
Right.
Who are out there celebrating, drinking away their woes or celebrating and putting themselves in these positions. This isn't specific to the Cowboys.
Right.
But the narrative is going to be, see, they can't handle success. It's a bye and they're already getting arrested. That's what's going to be said. But when you listen to the leaders of this team, when you listen to them talk after the game, CeeDee Lamb telling Dak, I love you. Dak being in the locker room playing a game with Micah Parsons, shooting stuff into the laundry bin or trash bin, whatever.
Yeah.
When you see what these guys are doing, Zeke helping Dak as Dak is hopping on one foot, and Zeke's right there, and Dak's holding his shoulder down the hallway.
Yeah. These
things are not the things that happened when Tony Romo was here.
Right.
You had too many factions. Either I'm a T.O. guy or a Tony Romo guy.
Right.
These aren't the things that happened after Michael Irvin got hurt and the Cowboys fell apart.
Right.
You have a different mentality.
There's a, what do you call it? Well, we were talking about, like, whenever you're a new coach, you have to create your own, what's the word I'm looking for?
Culture.
Yeah. There's a different culture amongst this.
And these guys aren't worried about what happened 25 years ago. They don't feel the burdens of that. So they feel we want to win because we're great.
You know, Dak said, I think during Hard Knocks or maybe an interview after one of the preseason games, but he said something along the lines of, like, because they were asking, like, with so many weapons that he has, do you feel pressure since, like, Zeke is your best friend to get him the ball or anybody else for that? And his response was like, no, I think our team just wants to win. I don't think it matters who's getting more touches. They all want touches, and the great thing is all of them couldn't get touches, but nobody's going to be mad as long as we get the win. And I didn't, at the time, I just kind of ignored it because I was like, yeah, that's just, playing it up for the cameras. But I actually think that is where,
true.
Yeah.
I see our wide receivers. When CeeDee Lamb catches a big pass, Amari Cooper running over there excited like if he just caught it.
Right.
And when Amari
huge.
catches it, I see CeeDee doing the same thing. I saw Zeke high-stepped that touchdown in last week.
Yeah.
Dak running behind him doing it too.
Yeah.
These guys are genuinely happy for one another.
Whether it's them being happy that they're winning or whether it's for the team. Like,
I think it has a lot to do with them being young, though.
Yeah.
But veteran young. You know?
Yeah, because you have, like, as we've said before, you have Dak and Zeke. They're veterans. They've been in the league for, 5-6 years now?
Yeah.
But they're still just a couple years older than these rookies that are on the team.
Exactly. These guys don't have the burden of saying, oh, we've been trying this for 10 years and we have not done it.
Yeah.
So these guys are like, look, we had early success. We've had a couple bad years in between. And now, you know what? Everyone's on the same page. Let's go out here and get it.
Yeah, I think you also don't have the old egos of, like, I'm an all-pro. I've been here for the last 10 years, all-pro, and now you want to be a young buck and you're getting on my nerves. You're going to listen to me. Like, I don't think you have that in there. I mean, who was it? Well, Sean Lee and Witten were probably the oldest two last year.
Yeah, you had them and LP Ladisor, the long snapper. But in general, these guys all came in together. You don't have people who are that elder statesman.
Yeah.
That you feel obligated to get something to.
Yeah.
Like, because you kind of had that with Witten. Even though he was a great safety blanket, at some point you were like, well, I guess I got to throw it to him.
Yeah.
And you don't have that anymore.
Yeah,
these guys.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking win. behind the scenes. I'm sure there's some egos to the whole, like, I would have got it in there. I've been old reliable for so long.
I don't doubt that some players like Zeke know in the back of his mind that he's the better option over Pollard for a lot of reasons. But I think Zeke knows they're paying me.
Right.
They're not paying Pollard. Pollard needs some time to shine so he can get his paycheck.
Right.
Because I believe they're actually friends.
Yeah.
And so Zeke isn't threatened by Pollard because they also play differently. If they were both the same style of running back, I think Zeke could easily be threatened by what Pollard does.
Yeah.
But they're not.
Yeah.
Pollard is much more speed and finesse, where Zeke is great footwork and power.
Yeah.
And with those two, and Zeke also knows Pollard can't block like me.
Right. Yeah, I think the stylistics of each player is different. Though a lot of people will try to pit them against each other. I think as I've stated before, you can pick your poison. What do you want? Like, I'd rather.
How do you want to lose?
Yeah, because as I've said before, you look at Elliott, you know what he can do. His stats show you what he can do.
All right. So on that thought, I was watching Monday Night Football.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I was, and I was hearing these idiots saying that Derrick Henry is Hall of Fame bound. And I'm not calling them idiots for saying that. I'm calling them idiots because they kept messing up in what they were saying. But anyways, but Derrick Henry is on a pathway to being a Hall of Famer based on what he's done. So I'm not arguing with that idea. Derrick Henry has played great. He has bukus of touchdowns. I mean, he is racking those things up.
Right.
He's on pace to break the single season record in touchdowns, rushing touchdowns that LT has, LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah.
Which was 28 because LT broke Emmett's 25 touchdowns in the season record. And he's on pace to do that. You know, it's a 17-game season, but still, he's on pace for it.
Okay.
He's playing great. He is a really good, great running back. My problem is when you look at the numbers, there's a running back that's been doing better than him since he came into the league.
Yeah.
Because he came into the league in 2016. So, who might that running back be that's outplayed him since 2016?
Le'Veon Bell.
No, not quite. Le'Veon Bell's a little bit behind him. First name starts with an E. Last name starts with an E. Plays for the Dallas Cowboys.
There's nobody on that team.
Mr. Ezekiel Elliott. For the record, since 2016, Derrick Henry has accumulated 7,473 yards. All-purpose yards. That's rushing and receiving. Ezekiel Elliott has accumulated 8,960 yards. That's nearly 1,500 yards more than Derrick Henry in 7 fewer games. Remember, the league suspended Zeke on some BS stuff that happened when he was in college. They suspended him in his second season, costing him, 4 or 5 games? And then there was a couple games where, because the Cowboys were already in the playoffs, they rested him, stuff like that. So Ezekiel Elliott has 7 fewer games and 1,500 more all-purpose yards than Derrick Henry. Well, I know that's going to prompt some people to say, oh, okay, but rushing, Derrick Henry's got to be killing him. Well, no, because rushing-wise, Zeke still has him by about 300 yards.
Okay.
In this same time span. Yes, this year, Derrick Henry has him by a couple hundred yards. Okay, Derrick Henry's first. Nick Chubb's is second. Zeke is third. Zeke trails Chubb by 2 yards rushing. And they both trail Henry by a couple hundred.
Okay.
But for their career, Zeke has Henry by about 300 yards. So when you talk about Derrick Henry being a beast on the way to the Hall of Fame,
yeah,
I don't see how you can say that without also saying Zeke has been just as consistent, if not more, because he started off like a beast since his rookie year.
Right.
And has done more than Derrick Henry receiving. Is probably the best blocking running back in the NFL.
Yeah.
So that marks all three areas. Now, when other people want to throw out other names like Alvin Kamara, well, Zeke has him by 1,600 yards. When you want to throw out Christian McCaffrey, yes, he came in 1 year later. But Zeke has him by 3,500 yards.
Right. Well, maybe if he stopped getting hurt, he could compete.
That's my point.
Yeah.
When you're looking at Zeke, he is, since 2016, the best running back in the league. And right now I got people that are saying, oh, Derrick Henry's hands down the best, and it's not even close. Okay, Derrick Henry may be the best running back this year. If you're going to say, though, since he came into the league, it's still Zeke.
Right. I was going to say, I thought probably a year, maybe 2 years ago, I was thinking that Derrick Henry was a bust. Like, I didn't think he was going to do that.
His first 2 years, he was.
Yeah, I was thinking like, oh yeah, that's not going to work out.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's first 2 years, he didn't do much.
Yeah,
and it had a lot to do with the fact that he wasn't he wasn't featured.
Yeah,
like so these are the numbers. His first 3 years for Derrick Henry: 490 yards rushing, 744 yards rushing, 1,059 yards rushing. Okay, those were his first 3 years. His fourth year, 1,540. Dak came in at 1,631. Second year, when he had that BS suspension, he had 983. Third year, 1,434. Fourth year, 1,357. Now, the only real big difference is that Zeke, in his fifth year, had a down season. 979 yards, fumbled a bunch, didn't really do what he had been doing.
Right.
And that was when Derrick Henry hit his 2,027 yards. So that fifth year was the big difference. But outside of that, I mean, it's been Zeke.
Yeah.
So when I say the stupid people that I was going to be yelling at, it's all you stupid people who say Zeke isn't good, Zeke isn't as good. Zeke, at very least, is in the top 3 running back discussion every year. And if you're not putting him there, it's because you're what I call a stupid. And there's a lot of you who are a stupid.
Or just flat out haters.
And a stupid because of it. So, yeah. I've been talking a lot. And I'm going to keep doing it. Because there's more stupid people out there. But I'm going to ask you first. Before I keep talking about these stupids.
Blue.
Quarterbacks.
Yes, there's lots of quarterbacks.
There's a lot of quarterbacks in the league, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to lift some names out.
Okay.
And you tell me if they're elite.
I don't like this game. Last time I think I lost this game.
Yeah, it's because you're a loser. Is Dak elite?
It's hard for me to say that, but yes, he is. Well, it's not hard for me to say. I've said previously that he has shut down all my critiques that I've had about him this season. So yeah, I'm putting him up there.
Is Russell Wilson elite?
Yeah.
I know he's hurt right now, but
yeah.
Is Aaron Rodgers elite?
Of course.
Matt Stafford elite?
No, he is.
Mahomes?
Of course.
Lamar Jackson?
Meh.
Based on what he's done.
Yeah.
Different style. But
yeah.
He gets the job done, right?
There's no denying he's been in the league long enough to say like if you're not, you're just being overly
Yeah, you pigeonholed. This is what a quarterback is, and you're not accepting the fact that, look, you can be different and be great. And right now, Lamar Jackson's been in the league long enough. Now, I still don't think he'll sustain it because I think he's due to get injured.
Okay.
But that said, the boy rocks. He wins.
Yeah.
And that's what elite is. Can you do something special to make your team win?
Yeah.
Can you put the team on your back and get them there?
And keep it competitive.
And put the fear of God into these other teams. And he does that.
As I've said before about Rodgers, what makes him dangerous is you can't count him out until that fucking clock strikes 0.
And I think that's what elite is.
Yeah.
You can't count them out. They can go win shootouts. They can win it different ways. They can thread the needle.
Just when you think that you've got them for somehow, some way, they've just found another way to make you rethink.
You don't want to leave them with a minute and 8 seconds.
Yeah.
And a drive left. And that's where the elite comes.
Yeah, there's quarterbacks like I would say like a Jimmy G. You get down to 2 minutes. There's a good shot you've already won that. There's not a whole lot of...
Look, Jimmy G is going to be good from beginning to end.
Yeah.
But he's not going to make you like, oh, snap, man.
You're not going to be scared.
We're punting it to Jimmy G.
Yeah.
And Jimmy has like the highest win percentage from everybody.
Yeah.
He's always getting hurt, but
aside
from that.
You don't want to come down to 2 minutes with these elite players that we've just named. Like 2 minutes, that's enough for them to make a quick touchdown and do an onside kick and do it again and be like, how the fuck did they just do that?
Yeah. I think on the outside looking in of that, and it's because of age for one and lack of ability or availability for the other.
Right.
Is Brady and Deshaun. Brady's old.
Yes.
I don't think Brady is elite anymore because he's past his prime.
Right.
Deshaun, if he were playing, I could put him into that conversation.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Deshaun will ever play again. I think he has the talent to be elite.
Yeah.
I called him a poor man's Dak. And I still think that he is. Because he has more turnovers than Dak does. And it's because he gambles more.
Yeah.
But he does special things with his feet more so than Dak does.
Yeah.
But I think he's a poor man's Dak because he'd rather use his feet than his arm.
Yeah.
And Dak is great either way.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, as we've seen many players, and especially in the recent, for one reason or another, Watson might have caught that one, like, you're just, it's unfortunate. You have the skill level to be able to play, but they've been stamped as...
But kind of blackballed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even know if it's a blackball, but you've got a stain on you that nobody wants to touch.
Yeah. No one's really willing to pay the high price for him.
Yeah.
They're going to put him out of the league, it looks like, because they should have traded him. He had value, but they priced it so high that no one was willing to risk it.
I think...
And I can't necessarily blame him if they're mad at him because he did go off on them.
Yeah.
But I can't blame him for going off on them.
I don't know that he hits the free agency that someone doesn't pick him up.
But I'm going to tell you why I didn't put him in the elite category. How many games did he win last year? Like 4?
Yeah.
and there was no reason for him not to win more. I know they traded away his receiver. But if you're elite, then you don't necessarily
that. One thing that everyone's critiqued about Green Bay is that they haven't had much of a receiving core. And even when they haven't had that receiving core, Rodgers still was
turns people into those.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what elite players do.
Yeah.
So, on the outside of that is Kyler Murray.
Okay.
And that's really the reason Kyler's
he's knocking on the door. This
is his first year doing this.
Yeah.
I don't put you there until I see it again.
That's what I'm saying. He's knocking on the door. He's been in the league, 3-4 years now?
It's like his second year, dude.
No.
Second, third year.
Yeah, that's what I said. 3 or 4.
Yeah, second or third, not 3 or 4.
Well, the 3's consistent, so it's
all right. Let's say 3. All right, but either way, with it, Kyler hasn't shown this before.
No.
He's shown the potential.
Yeah.
And so for him, at the end of the year, I might go ahead and push him up.
Yeah.
But look, this group of 9 quarterbacks are in a league of their own. So anyone trying to throw Herbert there, trying to throw Josh Allen there, trying to throw any other quarterback in the league, because Matt Ryan's played himself out.
Yeah.
Okay, Matt Ryan was there. He's no longer there.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray took his spot and said, all right, hold my drink, old man. He's done. Ben Roethlisberger's done. Now, I'm not saying that they can't play the game.
Yeah.
But they're not elite. They're not in this group.
They'll still show you that flash.
They might. They might have that old man punch.
Yeah.
But they're not someone who you're going to worry about in a 16-game, 17-game season. So I say this because I still hear all these idiots, these stupid people putting Herbert and Josh Allen into this elite category when I'm watching Allen play scared.
Yeah.
I see it in the dude's eyes. He doesn't have that pinpoint accuracy shot that you see from an Aaron Rodgers.
Did you say Allen?
Yeah.
Yeah, Allen.
People want him to be great.
Yeah.
And last year he had a really good season.
Yeah.
People want him to be great, but he's been in the league now 4 years. Had one good season.
Yeah.
And when he has a good game, they're like, see, he's great. And when he has a bad game, they're like, yeah, let's not talk about that.
I would say, for all intents and purposes, he is good.
He's good, and he can be better, and he can evolve.
He's good, and I would even say he's a really good one. But he's still not but damn, this is
He doesn't have that ice in his veins yet.
Yeah.
He wants to. He's gambling with it.
He's still learning a lot. Like, that's the thing.
He and Herbert are getting blindsided hit.
Yeah.
From linemen who, against these elite quarterbacks, are wondering, how did he get rid of that ball?
Yeah.
They are getting, hit in spots where I'm thinking, man, they're going to break their back.
Yeah.
They're going to break something because they don't recognize the pressure.
Right.
Because like we talked about before, a young driver doesn't have that peripheral vision.
Yeah.
These two guys don't have it yet.
That's definitely where we say it. Where that vet that is there to tell you, like, listen, when they come in, you have to watch them on this because they're going to try that, and that's how you escape it.
I personally think that the reason everyone is trying to up their greatness, up these two quarterbacks, is because they're white. Truth be told, I think they want these two quarterbacks to be up there because in that list of 6 that we listed, only 2 of them are white, Rodgers and Stafford.
Right.
And both of them are on their latter days in the league. They got, 4 or 5 more seasons left in them?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to say other than, Stafford maybe gets an extra year over Rodgers just because he's slightly younger, but I don't even think he's...
But even still, as injured as he's been,
you
just don't know when he's done.
Yeah.
Rodgers probably going to just walk away.
That's the crazy thing about Rodgers is he seems, as the years have gone on, we'll see if I come back next year.
Yeah. And so for me, I understand if you're from Los Angeles and are rooting for Herbert and you're trying to put him up there because that's what home teams do.
Yeah.
Same thing for Josh Allen in Buffalo. If you're a fan of Buffalo and you're saying it, I get it.
Right.
But if you're national media and saying it, you're just stupid. Because you're supposed to be objective. And to be honest, you can't objectively watch Josh Allen and watch Mahomes, Dak, Wilson, Rodgers, Stafford, and tell me that Josh Allen is in their league.
Yeah.
You can say he will be, but he ain't there. Josh Allen ain't scaring nobody in the last 2 minutes.
Right.
stupid people.
I was going to say, case in point, this last game.
Exactly. Exactly.
Monday night. No, it's a Monday night?
Yeah.
Monday night game.
And Lamar Jackson got the dub.
Right.
So it's just been bothering me because people are saying, oh, well, the MVP is down to Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, and Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
All right, you want to say Kyler? I get it. He's undefeated.
Yeah.
Kyler and Dak, all right. But look, it's a long season.
Yeah, I mean,
Mahomes is going to be there. He should be.
As I say, as we were talking off air, we're getting into, week 7?
Mm-hmm.
And as you just stated on the podcast, there's still 10 more games that are going to be played.
Yeah.
So, which is crazy because last year we'd be like, oh, we're halfway through the season just about.
Yeah, 7 games, right?
Yeah. So that's the difference in what we're talking about this.
That one extra game really makes this season different. And you got to recognize it. Now, I understand some of these guys just say these things for ratings.
Yeah.
They want to get clicks.
Or just to talk. Because if you're not...
They got to fill the void and they got to make arguments and stuff like that. But it's stupid. Last football thing before we get into the picks and talk about NBA stuff.
Okay.
How great is Diggs, man?
Stefan's been doing great.
Yeah, I know. Scored a touchdown the other day. Tied his brother.
Oh, that's sad. He's tying his brother that's on defense.
I know.
Well played, sir. Well played. And he's chasing his little brother. Damn. Yeah. Damn, that's fucked up. But, no, Trevon is doing great. It's actually really kind of refreshing to hear that the defense, like, even though they're still got us running at the middle of the pack, he's making the defense be a little, like, if they're not at least concerned with him out there, they should be.
He is what is making the defense respectable. He is what's making the defense respectable. And if you didn't hear me, it's Diggs that's making the defense respectable. When you're saying that, oh, well, the Cowboys defense is turning the ball over, because that's what a lot of the narrative is.
Yeah.
Let's be real. They have 14 turnovers.
Yeah.
7 of them are by Diggs.
Right.
Via interception.
Yeah.
They've turned the ball over 7 times as well.
Right.
That means that without Diggs, we are at a plus-minus of 0 in the turnover battle.
Right.
The only reason that the Cowboys are amongst the best in the NFL in that plus-minus thing is because of Diggs. Now, yes, the coaching staff is coaching them on stripping the ball, but there's only been 4 picks outside of Diggs.
Right.
In these 6 games, 4 picks. That's decent, but it's not scary.
Right.
When you got Diggs every week making a pick, get out of here.
And, I don't know if you guys didn't watch the game. They said that this last one made him tie with a record that was set in, 1990.
93, I think.
Was it 93?
Yeah.
I thought it was 90 even. Either way, Rod Woodson had gotten
7 picks in 7 games, right?
Yeah.
Or 6 games?
No. Oh, yeah. No, I think it was 7.
7 and 7, and
yeah.
He's got 6 or 7 and 6.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that's what me and you had commented on. Like, wow, that's crazy that it's only the 6th.
Well,
but yeah. So that's crazy. Like when you really put that into perspective, that it's been that long since someone's been able to do that. And
outside of Diggs, who's the best cornerback you ever watched play?
That I've ever watched play? It's going to sound cliche, but Dion.
primetime, right?
Yeah.
To me, it's not even a question. Do you know what's the most amount of interceptions he had in any one season?
Now you know my number. 7.
Exactly. 7 is the most that he had in any one season. And that was in his last year in Atlanta. That was his 5th year playing.
Oh, wow.
His last year in Atlanta, he had 7.
Okay.
The next year, when he was in San Francisco, it was 6.
Okay.
The most he ever had as a Cowboy corner was 5. Now, I will put this asterisk there. After San Francisco, or during that season, teams started to decide we are just not throwing to his side.
Right.
And every now and then a quarterback would be bold and say, let me throw to his side. He won't. Damn. And that's what would happen. Because he was a threat not just to catch it, but to turn it into a touchdown.
Right. So watching this season, you think we've hit a point where the teams that are coming up against him are going to start saying don't throw it in his direction?
Apparently not. Because I think you'll have some teams who are going to do their damnedest not to.
Yeah.
But they're still going to throw it there.
Right.
And when you are going up against as many young and inexperienced quarterbacks as the Cowboys are going to be going up against, you're going to get a lot of picks still from Diggs. Right now, he's got 10 games left.
Yeah.
Let's say that in 5 of those games they don't throw his way so he can't get a pick.
Right.
That still leaves him 5 more games.
Right.
So, let's say he gets a pick in 3 of them.
Okay.
That's 10 freaking picks this season.
Right. And me and you were talking about that record of all time.
It's 14.
Yeah, and we were saying how he's done 7 and
I think at that time he had done 6, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, just at this pace, he's gonna probably take that if they don't adjust it.
Yeah, unless teams stop throwing his way or he gets hurt, he should get this record. And even if he doesn't, he will get double-digit picks this season. And what's most impressive to me is when you compare him to Deion. Deion had 8 picks in his first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
5 his first season, 3 his second. In 22 games,
yeah,
that's 10 less than what Deion had, right?
Yeah.
Diggs has 10 picks in his first 2 seasons.
Right.
In 22 games.
Yeah.
Now, look, one thing that I want to say. You can't necessarily say that Diggs is better than Deion because Deion was returning punts, returning kickoffs, and making teams scared that he touched the ball, right?
Yeah.
And he was playing baseball.
Right.
So he's not the athlete that Deion was, but as far as the corner, I think he's showing to be every bit the corner that Deion was.
I mean, there's no denying he is very good. He's showing out every chance that he fucking gets, and if you don't see it, then you're just lying to yourself.
And speaking of lying,
no,
the NBA tips off today.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't really want to dwell on that. I just wanted to mention it.
Yes.
But I do want to ask you a question.
No.
It's a bit of a long one, so open your ears. Kyrie Irving. Okay?
Yes.
We talked about him a couple weeks ago, but I posted this question on Twitter and somebody wanted us to talk about it.
Okay.
So I'm going to put it out here for you. What if Kyrie Irving decided not to play basketball this year because he felt the threat of COVID was too great for him to risk his life and his family's lives? Do you think that he would still get that vitriol that he's been getting for letting the team down.
So, do I think that he'd still be getting the hate that he's getting if he was doing it for like
about letting the team down?
Yeah,
because he was afraid of the virus versus afraid of the shot, or choosing not to get the shot.
I mean, I think, however you want to phrase it, I think that's what his stance is, that he doesn't believe in the shot. But this is just a weird topic because I think people are overreacting to those that aren't or are getting the shot. And I say that,
are they? Why do you think they're overreacting?
Because here's the way I see it. You are making a clear decision on whether you get the shot or not.
Okay.
It's your choice. But in every choice, you have a consequence to it. So whether you take it or you don't, let's say you don't take it, then you're cutting yourself off from the employment opportunities that a lot of people are facing. That's a choice you chose. Now, some people are saying that that's not fair and they shouldn't do that. But there's a lot of things whenever you go into an employment situation that they enforce on you. Can't cuss out a coworker. You listen to that rule. You have sexual harassment situations that you abide by those. Getting a shot, if if it's aside from it being a risk to your health, saying like, oh, this shot isn't going to do well in your body for one reason or another, because everyone has different immune systems and situations, I don't really see like why you would fight it. Now, again, it's a choice that you're choosing. As far as for the people that are taking it, you still have other people that want to call you sheep and not listening, and they believe that they have their facts, and so that's why I say, like, I think there's a lot of overreacting in that. Like, everyone wants to point the finger at, well, you're the reason why this is happening this way or that.
Let me play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Those who are making the argument that by you not taking a shot, you're putting other people's lives at risk who can't legitimately get the shots.
Right.
Whether they're children or people whose doctors have told them, look, for your health, you can't get the shot. It would be detrimental to you.
Right.
So for those who are saying, if you want us to get back to reality, you need to take the shot because you're putting other people's lives at risk.
Right.
Aside from your own, you're putting the healthcare workers' lives at risk by you getting sick potentially and having to go to the hospital. All this, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So that is a legitimate, wouldn't you say, argument?
Again, I mean, it is. I'm not, like I said, I understand both sides.
And look, I'm really not trying to do anything other than when you were talking.
Yeah.
You know what it reminded me of?
Yeah.
Something that you and I never had a problem with. People smoking cigarettes.
Right.
Do you remember that there was actual people that died from secondhand smoke?
Yeah.
Like, never smoked a cigarette in their life, got lung cancer because they were always in smoke-filled areas and got secondhand smoke. What was that, an actress, Wonder Woman or somebody died? A famous actress. Yeah. I can't remember who it was. I don't want to say she played Wonder Woman.
I think she's still alive.
Well, it was one of those actresses, played a superhero or something.
Yeah.
That died from secondhand smoke. And she apparently never smoked.
Right.
This was 25, 30 years ago that this happened. But that's why I can't remember who it was. But that whole time period when they were trying to get people to stop smoking.
Right.
Look, you and I both grew up in households where people smoked.
Yeah. So much so that the paint was tinted from the smoke.
And you didn't really notice it till you left somewhere and then came back and you're like, whoa, why do I smell like smoke? Or people ask you, do you smoke because your clothes smell like smoke?
Yeah.
But you and I never necessarily had a problem going somewhere because we grew up around it.
Right.
But at the same time, there's a lot of people that had a problem with people that smoked. So much so that right now, depending on the city, you can't go into a bar and smoke.
Yeah.
You can't go into certain places.
Your cars I was talking to Mom. I was like, remember whenever cars, like kids today don't know that the lighter, now it's for
charging your car. But
it used to be a lighter in your car.
In every car.
Yeah.
And in some cars, you had it at every door.
Right.
You had a lighter in every door and an ashtray.
The funny thing is, me and Tiffany were talking about it too, Mom. I was like, just think, those ashtrays and lighters that were in your car back in the day was probably like a $500 to like $6,000 upgrade. Like, oh, that's the premium car because it has all that.
There's a lighter for every door.
Yeah.
But you know, that was a hard transition for people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just think. I probably think that they probably still had lighter or cigarette or ashtrays in your car, probably till about 2003. I think is whenever you started to see them like almost completely eradicated from cars.
Yeah, I don't think either of my cars have ashtrays.
Now they don't. They don't have them.
Yeah.
So, but I'm saying like around maybe I know in the 90s they still had them, and I probably would venture probably somewhere between 2002 and 2004 is when you started seeing ashtrays start just being
and I just bring that up because in this COVID thing, whereas with the smoking thing, people were like, look, with you smoking, you're putting my life at risk.
Yeah. With
this COVID thing, with you not taking your shot, you're putting my life at risk.
Yeah.
And with that, I say, look, Kyrie has chosen not to get this shot, right?
Yeah.
And to suffer the consequences for it.
Right.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Because he actually came out, I think earlier this week and said, look, I realized by me not talking, I wasn't really giving that voice to those who don't have a voice. So let me go ahead and say, this is my choice.
Yeah.
I should have this choice.
Yeah.
And I'm making this decision on my own. And you know what? I fully respect that. I just wish that people would respect him for it.
Right.
Because if he would have said, I'm not playing because I see all these people dying, and then people wouldn't say, well, you're disappointing the team.
Yeah.
You're putting your own interest at risk.
Just hearing this actually kind of reminds me of obviously two different topics, but similar in the sense that people, how they're critiquing it. The Kaepernick situation. And I say this in the sense that I honestly respect Kaepernick so much more because he jeopardized his career for what he believed in.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people think it's ignorant and they think it's like whatever.
They hate on him for it.
Yeah, whatever that stance is. But like realistically, all these people that you hear in the world that will be like, I believe in our troops or I believe in this. But how many of you guys are willing to lose your paycheck to say that we need better health care for our troops whenever they come home, or to say they need to be compensated more than what they are? How many times do you drive by a veteran that's on the side of the road that's begging for money and just like, oh no, I'm not going to do that, but you swear up and down you're so pro-America or you're so whatever, and allow that to continue on? And I'm not taking jabs at anybody. I'm just saying
I am. There's a lot of stupid people out there, and today I'm yelling at all of you.
But the point to that is it's similar in the sense that they are willing to risk what they believe in. And I've asked you and I've asked your nephew on other podcasts, like, whatever you put out into the world, are you willing to stand up on it if your employer says, hey, I kind of caught a podcast or I overheard you on the internet do XYZ, are you willing to lose your job over it? Because in the world that we're in, even though we're not at our place of employment, we've mentioned that there's, I don't know if we mentioned on here, but we've talked about how teachers lose their jobs for doing OnlyFans.
We were talking about it last week.
Yeah. And, if you don't think there's anything wrong with it and you're willing to lose your job for it, by all means, that's your choice. You chose to do it.
Are you really standing on your principles?
Yeah. Yeah. And for me personally, I do believe in, like, if this is how I feel about something, I have no problem reaping those consequences to it. And so hats off to him for accepting the consequences. He's not blaming anybody. He's not saying anything. And even still, like,
he's not down talking anybody. Yeah. Look, I may have a difference of opinion on whether you should take the shot or not from him, but I respect him saying, look, I'm losing $33 million.
Right.
But this is my choice because I don't want this. And now, that said, did you hear about that coach from Washington State today?
No.
Got fired. Him and 4 of his...
because they had the
because
fake...
they decided... No, that's something different. Him and 4 coaches got fired because the guy... Well, okay, I'll hit on what you're talking about right after this. So, him and 4 of his coaches decided not to get the vaccine.
Okay.
And so they said, all right, so we're going to tell you bye.
Okay.
Because you didn't get the vaccine.
Okay.
So, the Washington State football coach had a $3 million a season paying gig, and he lost it for this.
Okay.
He made some jokes about it or whatever, but
right.
That was his choice.
Right.
I can't fault the school for doing it.
Right.
I can't fault him for choosing not to.
Right.
It's easy for me to say it's stupid, you should have got the shot, because I feel you should get the shot.
Right.
That doesn't mean that if you say, look, I got enough money in the bank.
Right.
Why do I want to get the shot when I don't want to get the shot?
Right.
Look, more power to him, more power to the school. Good for both of you. I think both of you walk away like this. Good. So what you were talking about, though.
Yeah.
I think someone had a fake. It was a player. They got a fake COVID card and got suspended for 21 days.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, I forgot what team it was on, but I just heard about it. I thought that was crazy. But to add on to what you're saying is, like, those people that are taking those stances and that they, because they firmly believe in what they believe in, again, it's do what works best for you. I understand both sides. To, like, if you're worried
Hold on. My position's different. Don't do what's best for you. Do what's best for the community. Get your shot. That's my position.
Okay.
But if you choose not to, I'm not going to fight you over it.
Yeah. For me, I will say, because I was thinking about this before COVID, because I've heard of anti-vaxxers when it comes to getting their kids vaccinated. And I thought that they had a valid point of, like, well, if your kid's vaccinated, why are you worried if my kid's vaccinated? And when I heard that, I was like, well, yeah, that kind of makes sense. If it's pretty much eradicated and you haven't gotten, or you got your shots, whatever. Now, to where we are today, I think the unfortunate thing is a lot of people started to get the vaccine. They got the first shot. They didn't get the second shot. And I think that's why we're having these variants that are coming out. And that's what's making it a little bit worse than had it just evolved on its own.
Not necessarily. Because these variants started coming out before these shots were given.
Were they?
The Delta was already out before, like in December of last year.
Okay.
They had already found it. But it spread. Like initially, I think it took several months before it started spreading and became the prominent version out there.
Right.
Also, the Lambda was out for a while too.
Okay.
And it's just the more and more people that aren't, it just leaves more hosts for the virus. But so many of them in the worldwide spread of it is because there's a lot of poor countries that just don't have the vaccines too.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Someone pointed out on the radio that I was listening to was we have it and people don't want to take it. And there's other countries that haven't even gotten their first round. And so, like, they're like, oh, I can't wait till we get it. And we're just throwing away so many because people don't want to get this And that's something that people should think about too. Like that's kind of fucked up that as Americans do, we have a tendency of
being wasteful.
Being taken for granted the fact that we can, or that it is a thing that we can go after. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's a for your medical being so politicized. I think is a weird thing. Like your decisions to take a medicine or not take a medicine, I think is your own private choice. I don't know why it's become so much of a. Well, I mean, I know why, but I don't.
It's always about the dollar.
Yeah.
So.
Excuse me. Sorry.
It's always about the dollar. And when it's about the dollar, it's about politics.
Yeah. I think, or at least for some of the people that I know personally, that's more of their reasoning for why they don't want to take it, is they think it's like, oh, it's just a cash grab. But you're not paying for it. So I don't know why you're complaining about that this is being a cash grab that the government's paying for. But, yeah, I don't really have much more to say about Kyrie. If that's, I mean, he's standing in his own decision. I'm not mad at him for.
Is it going to cost the Nets a championship?
I don't know that it solely will. I mean, it might play part to it. It's just like any player that if they got hurt, whenever it comes time to the playoffs or championship.
Last week or the week before, whenever we talked about Kyrie, the question was, is he going to retire?
Yeah, I heard.
And he came out this week and said, I'm not retiring.
Yeah.
So I don't care what you heard.
Yeah.
I'm not going to retire.
Yeah.
And that's also good to hear from him.
Yeah.
Because he's a great talent. He has so much potential for that sport. If he wasn't so injury prone, I'd want him on my team. And I know a lot of people hate on him.
Right.
Because of his attitude, because of anything whatsoever. This is even before the vaccine thing.
Yeah, I think.
But I've always been a fan of his.
Yeah, I think he just kind of, as far as because he has his flat Earth theories and things like that.
And he backtracked.
Yeah.
On that eventually.
Yeah, it's anyone's choice, but I mean, you have to understand your risk. Like, don't be mad because these are the rules of. I mean, I remember, hearing everyone talk about, oh, I can't wait to get back to normal. Normal. That's what we've all said from the beginning of this. But someone pointed out on Twitter, I think it was, and I thought about it, and I was like, oh, shit, that's true, that we never got back to normal after 9/11. There was a new normal. We don't go back. From this point on, this will be the new norm. So face masks in public will be our new norm. Washing your hands a little bit more shouldn't have to be, but it is a new norm now. And because of that, I think that's just unfortunately the way our new society is going to be as far as for moving forward. I don't know that we'll ever have another time where we won't have the masks. And even in retrospect, like when you think about a lot of things that we used to do back in the day before this, like, oh, it's kind of unsanitary. I can't believe we used to do that. That's kind of gross. but yeah, I mean, if you make this a hard stance on it, on anything, like I'm a firm believer, if you really believe it, you stand in your truth. Like if that's how you feel about it, you be willing to take those lumps that are going to come with it. Don't.
Okay. On that note.
No.
Odell. Trade talks for Jimmy G.
Yes.
Do you really believe it? You gonna stand on it?
So I don't see. If you take. Okay. Here's the way I look at this. Because I seen it on Facebook as a breaking news thing. And my stance on this is, I don't know any team that stands to gain a whole lot with the Odell Beckham of today. He's been in the league, 10 years now?
It's been a minute, man.
He's been in here for close to 10 years, if not 10 years or longer. But he's been in the league for a while. And 5 years ago, lot of teams would have been clamoring to have him. But today I don't see it. Not for and even if still, like, if we're entertaining this idea that San Fran would trade, what good does it do for me to trade for a receiver if I don't have a quarterback to get him the ball?
I mean, they got a rookie guy that they kind of want. They want Lance to eventually replace Jimmy G.
Yeah.
So, you do want him to have a weapon. So, yeah. I mean, Odell's not going to be chasing a ring out there because they're not going to go anywhere without Garoppolo.
Yeah.
So, but Odell don't really have much to say right now. Like that, he doesn't have a stance.
Yeah,
in what he can do just because he's been hurt so much.
Yeah.
And his values declined so much.
Yeah.
He has the name.
Yeah.
But without having anything good have happened while he was in Cleveland for himself.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, there's the question.
He's kind of just at the team's disposal.
As we've said before, sometimes your fit of somewhere is better elsewhere. As we've seen with, like, Stafford. You removed him from the Lions.
You put him out there in the Rams, and he's killing it.
But my point is, Stafford has removed himself from the Lions, and he's flourishing right now.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying, is there another system for him that he could go to that would they would benefit and he would benefit?
Most players are beholden to being in the right system for them to excel. Right. There's very few exceptions. Right. And that includes Hall of Famers.
Right.
You have to be in the right spot for you to maximize your potential. So for Odell, honestly, you know who I think would really rock with him?
Who's that?
Seattle. I think Russell Wilson would do really great with him. But obviously, Russell Wilson's out for the next several weeks, and they're actually talking about getting Cam. So let's move on to more pressing news. Has Patrick Mahomes lost his skill?
100%. He's trash. Guys, dump him from your fantasy league.
I actually had a dream that I picked him up on fantasy, that he was on the waiver, well, not even on the waiver wires. He was just a free agent. I was like, let me pick up Pat. I wonder why no one has him. These people are stupid.
Yeah.
So I picked him up.
Yeah, and that question comes from, again,
unfortunately, it wasn't real life.
That question comes from Fox Radio. They were talking about it.
More stupid people.
Yeah, they were questioning, because he has so many interceptions this year as opposed to last year or any other year, that he may have lost a step. He's being sloppy with throwing the ball. And I'm not going to question Mahomes. As me and you have said, he's probably the best quarterback in the league.
Most talented for sure.
He's at least in the top five.
He's been in the conference championship these last 3 years.
Yeah.
2 Super Bowls, 3 conference championships.
Yeah.
I am not going to say that he is not the best quarterback in the NFL. Now, is he playing the best quarterback right now? No.
Yeah.
Because right now he's just in a little bit of a slump. He's not playing as well as he has been playing for the last 3 seasons. That said, he is still probably the best quarterback in the NFL, or at least still in the top elite range, you know?
I would say, I mean, there's so much to go into what makes him, but as we've said with the Cowboys and Pollard and Zeke, we have enough footage on him now. We know his tendencies. It makes it a little bit easier we know he's going to throw to Kelsey. We know he's going to throw it to this person, or where he likes to go under pressure.
His receivers aren't as open as what they were the last 3 seasons.
Right.
When you take that from it, his passes, who weren't always perfect,
right,
now kind of need to be more perfect.
Right.
When Tyreek Hill has 2 passes bounce off his hands into the hands of a defender, those aren't really Patrick Mahomes' fault.
Right.
Now you can say, if the pass would have been more on target and not so far behind, then it wouldn't have fallen off his hands.
Right.
Okay. but when it touches your hands, you need to catch it, right?
Yeah, that's one thing that nothing pisses me more off as a spectator, and if I would be coaching, is how did you get your hands on it and it just completely not even.
I think it's these gloves. So
I've heard a lot of older players talk about the gloves, like how
people are too reliant on them now.
Yeah.
So when we were playing back in our day, you would see somebody put their gloves on, right?
Yeah.
Every now and then. Now, these gloves are sticky.
Right.
But just like with anything, it doesn't always work, right?
It's not fucking Velcro, dude. Like even
dude, these gloves,
Really?
it's like you freaking have glue on your hands.
That's
so that's why
crazy.
so many kids make these one-handed grabs and everything.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculous. Look, honestly, what I did when I was coaching,
Yeah.
you drop a pass, take off the gloves.
Right.
Like, that's what it is. I'm blaming that. Because if you can catch it without your gloves,
Yeah.
then you can definitely catch it with them.
Right.
So let's get those hands back for you to get that feel of that ball.
Right.
And then, all right, you showed me you can catch it without the gloves. Now you can put them back on.
Right.
Now, I know people will fight you on that tooth and nail.
Right.
But that's why you have to control your team. But either way with it, look, Pat Mahomes has not lost skill. So all you stupid people who don't understand me now. Patrick Mahomes is still amongst the top quarterbacks in the league, even if he hasn't played perfect thus far.
Right.
You don't need to play perfect for you to still maintain your greatness status.
Right.
Now, for those who say, oh, Dak is an elite because he hasn't won a Super Bowl, how many Super Bowls has Patrick Mahomes won? One. How many Super Bowls has Aaron Rodgers won?
One.
Okay, how many Super Bowls has, let's see, Lamar Jackson won?
None.
Stafford?
None.
Wilson?
One. I know he's been in a couple games, so
Brady, like a million,
yeah.
right? And Roethlisberger, you're not confusing him with elite, right?
Right.
So if you don't want to put anybody in elite status at quarterback because they have won 0 Super Bowls,
Well, those are different.
then Wilson, Mahomes, Rodgers, each have only won 1.
Right.
And do you realize when Rodgers won his?
It's been, 11 years? 10 years?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's been 11 years since he last won one.
Yeah.
And yet people talk about how great he is.
Yeah.
And that can't possibly... You realize when Rodgers was drafted?
Yeah.
When?
Oh, do I remember? No, I don't. I remember whenever he took over.
2003 is when he was drafted.
No shit. He's been in the league
So
that long?
he won his title 4 years after he was drafted, right?
Yeah.
Or 7 years after he was drafted, 4 years after he started playing. Because remember, first 3 years he sat.
Right.
So 7 years after he was drafted, he won.
Right.
Look, man, Dak is in his 6th year.
Yeah.
So it's not like...
Yeah,
Look, Patrick Mahomes is still great. I don't care if it's a down season because his down season is some quarterbacks' greatest season ever.
I was to say Mahomes is a freak in the sense that he's gone to a Super Bowl as early as he did.
Yeah, second year.
Yeah.
Third year.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, there's players that play their like a whole 20 years in the league that don't
try
even
to get in. Yeah.
Don't even get close. Like they just.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean. It's ridiculous that anyone would even...
It's ridiculous that people dismiss Dak because he's been in the league for quote-unquote so long.
Yeah.
And yet, then Kyler Murray, he's up and coming, so he's elite. And look, you can't have your cake and eat it too, and people try to play both sides of the coin with it. Rodgers is the greatest and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, how many titles he won? Damn. Yeah. I mean... Be real with it. Now, look, we've definitely gotten over on time. So let's remind everybody how awesome I am. I was 13-1 last week. Yeah, you heard that right. 13-1. and you were 8-5.
Maybe.
Yeah. And so what you decided to do this week is copy me on all but 2 picks. Yes. Smart move. So we both got the Browns. We both got the Packers. We both got the Chiefs, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Patriots. I took the Bengals. You took the Ravens. The Ravens are at home, favored by 6.5. Talk about it real quick.
I went with them. Originally I didn't. I changed that just to try and
catch up.
Curve this deficit a little bit. But I'm a little bit upset with the Ravens because they didn't produce what I needed them to. So my fantasy team, but nonetheless,
it's a tough matchup. Look, it's a divisional game. I kind of wanted to go with the Ravens, but at the same time, I think that one of these 2 games between the Bengals and the Ravens, the Bengals will win. So I just said, okay, let me take this.
They're going to set a precedence for their own.
Bengals have been decent this year, man. Their defense is legit.
I'm a little bit. That actually bothers me too, just because again I'm a Dalton fan. I think they cashed out on him too soon. But that's my personal opinion. But yeah, so that's why I went with the Ravens. They're also at home too.
Yeah, so we both took the Rams over the Lions. I don't know that they'll cover the 15.5 that they're favored by.
I think,
But I think, because I think the Lions are a respectable team. But real quick, did you hear their coach call out their quarterback?
No.
Yeah, so last week their coach was crying.
Yeah.
This week, he called him out.
No shit.
He said he needed him to do better. He needed him to play better. And then he stepped it back and said, but everyone needs to play better. But he really called him out.
That's crazy because, like, again, as we said last week, they've been competitive. It's not like they're taking huge losses. They're in there till the very last moment in all cases, most cases at least.
I think all but one.
Yeah.
But look, this is what kills me on coaching, on bad coaching.
Yeah.
You can't cry, and I criticize the coach for crying. You heard me.
Yeah.
You can't cry and then call out your quarterback the very next week.
Yeah.
Because you're putting the blame on him.
Yeah.
How are you going to put the blame on a guy who you traded for with the idea that let me rebuild his confidence?
Yeah.
I don't rebuild someone's confidence by calling him a sucky player that hasn't stepped up. And that's what I'm doing when I'm going on national television saying my quarterback just needs to step up.
Yeah. And I might be the only person that's not out on Goff. Like, I don't think Goff is a bad quarterback. I think that he did good whenever he was with the Rams. I think he's still doing relatively decent while he's over there.
I think he's a legitimate starter. And by being a legitimate starter, that means you're one of 20 players. Because the last 10 players are probably not legitimate starters.
Right.
You're looking for someone to be put in.
And at any given moment, you have at least 10 players that are like, I need to replace this person. Is this my potential starter for the next few years? If not, I need to be looking for the next person up. And that's just being the truth. Whether it's because you're getting up in age, whether it's because you're new and you're just not getting it, that's where your lower part of your
Goff is not elite. Goff is not going to be the difference maker, but he's also not going to be the reason your team sucks.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I was to say, remember how I said that who was that said was a very good quarterback? I don't remember. We said it earlier, but he's a good quarterback. He's not great. He's not, very good. He's
Kirk Cousins, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's a Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Now I think
I would probably
the biggest knock on him. I think he's more talented than Kirk.
Yeah.
I think one of the knocks on him for me is that he gets hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So if he didn't get hurt as much, he'd be better.
Yeah.
But honestly, I like his poise more than Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins had the benefit of being in the right space at the right time with Washington.
What? Here's where I would put him. He's there with Kirk Cousins, but not as bad as Wentz.
Yeah.
Because Wentz, I mean, a lot of people would say Wentz is a good quarterback, but I would say that Goff is a better quarterback than Wentz.
Definitely.
And he's still good. He's just, you got to look at it like.
But your coach can't be calling you out.
No.
Because it looks, especially, once again, you can't cry in week 5 and in week 6 call out your quarterback because you're blaming the losses on him instead of building him up. Now, in week 13, 14, you want to call him out?
Yeah.
Go ahead, because you're saying I'm getting rid of you unless you do something different.
Yeah.
You do it in week 5, 6, then he has no confidence in you because he knows you don't trust him.
And that might be passing the buck. He might have gotten chewed out by the owner or whatever, and then that might be the situation.
That's what it is.
But I mean, Goff has done. He's still playing decent, even though he's in a new system. He's got new people that he's got to learn. I think honestly, probably the difference in the way him and Stafford have done.
I would love for an upset to happen. I actually think they're due for a win. They're like the way we were talking about Urban Meyer's last week and the past few weeks. Like it's going to happen eventually. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the game that I think their coach is the next one to go now, based on what he did these last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think he's the next one to get canned.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if Goff comes out, balls. He's going to be playing against the Rams. He's not going to, he might, it might be what he needs to just give him that extra fire under him to.
Like, guys, let's get this one for me.
Yeah.
They might like him enough to do it.
But the factor for the difference between the two players, from my understanding, from what the Rams have been reported, is that when Stafford got there, which from my understanding, Stafford's a partier anyway, so he came along and just kind of befriended everybody like immediately.
Yeah.
And that might be what's made him that much of a better player. He's hung out with his teammates. He's actually got to know them. I don't know what Goff's habits are. I imagine he probably just went in like, okay, what's the new program, and just started studying game plays or whatever. But even if that's the difference, Goff is still playing pretty decent.
Yeah, I don't hate Goff. I think he's a good, solid starting quarterback.
Yeah.
So you might say top 22. Fine.
Yeah.
10 quarterbacks aren't starter quality.
Yeah.
That's cool. You might say it's top 28. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the top.
Yeah.
Either way, he's a legit starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's great, but I'm saying you could do much worse.
For sure. For sure.
Texans at Cardinals.
Yes.
We both took the Cards. Bears at Bucks. We both took the Bucks. The Bucks are favored by 12.5.
Yeah.
I would not doubt an upset by the Bears.
Yeah.
I think the Bears are a decent team.
Yeah.
That, once again, like the Lions, if they got a puncher's chance.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not betting on them, but I would not be surprised by either of those teams winning. I think people are sleeping on them both.
Yeah.
The Colts and 49ers, we differed on this. I took the Colts. They're playing at San Fran. San Fran's favored by 4, and I think that probably has to do with Jimmy G being back.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy G don't like losing.
I like some of the 49ers players. I think Kittle, good tight end. Samuels is a good receiver, and those are what I hold most of my faith in as far as for them winning. And
they've taken a couple of tough losses the last couple of weeks,
so
they're kind of due for a bounce back game. I get it.
Yeah.
I took the Colts. Honestly, they've had a couple of tough losses.
Yeah.
Too. So I think it's a coin flip.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised that it's a 4-point game.
The losses that I did were our coin flips.
Look, last week there was a handful of games that we did say were coin flips.
Yeah.
And you took the bad side of it, happenstance.
Yeah.
I definitely did. Look, I pick who I think's gonna win.
Yeah.
But it's not like I know that they're gonna win.
Well, I'm pointing it out. We mentioned that last week, and so when you think about we both mentioned either team could win, and just to keep it competitive, fuck it, I'll take the other team. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling super strong about all of those games.
Yeah.
It was, I
I
slightly
like
think this one is.
Yeah. I slightly like this.
And
this
I wouldn't be
outcome.
surprised if the other one got it. The one loss I took last week was a game. Both of us lost it. I can't remember.
I can't remember either. You'll listen to us say while we try and figure it out. But anyways.
So the Saints, we both took them over the Seahawks Monday Night Football.
Yes.
And
that more has to do with, again, the quarterback of that situation.
Seahawks played great without Wilson, meaning that they gave themselves a chance to win last week. But they still lost. And I think the Saints right now, 3-2, they're definitely not good.
Yeah.
But they're not bad. They'll probably get into the playoffs because there's 7 teams getting into the playoffs this year.
I mean, no, honestly, in this matchup, I wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks won that.
I was thinking the same thing.
I went with the Saints more or less because the fact that their team is actually the team that they typically play with versus we're filling in for Russ and we're trying to, just
still develop our offense and figure out how we have to play with this quarterback.
Yeah.
And that they're shopping for a new quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't trust Geno Smith because, look, Geno Smith is good for 3 games.
Yeah.
For, hey, Russ got hurt in this game, come in, finish the game. Okay, I won't lose it for us.
Right.
But he's not going to go win you 8 games in a season.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, that was really the determining factor. Now, if this was a year, 2 years ago when Breeze, I would have Breeze is on the team. There's no even question about if you don't have Russell in there, it's a gimme.
It's a layup.
Yeah.
Look, every game is hard in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're the best team, the worst team. None of these are layups.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this real quick before we get off of here. All these stupid people. I know we're way over. But look at all these stupid people who make every excuse against the Cowboys' wins.
Okay,
so before the Cowboys played the Giants, everyone was saying, yeah, the Giants are 1-3, but they could easily be 3-1. They're legit.
Right.
The Cowboys beat them. Oh, who cares? You beat the Giants. Woohoo.
Right.
The the Panthers. Carolina Panthers were 3-0 at the time when we faced them.
Yeah.
And people were picking the Panthers to win, national media.
Right.
And they were saying, look, they got the best defense. Oh, who cares? You beat Carolina and they didn't have McCaffrey. I don't care that you were missing 3-4 players, starters too. They were missing McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the Patriots.
Yeah.
So the Cowboys beat the Patriots by 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
And they were favored by 4 points. They covered the spread.
Right.
In New England, national media, I heard a couple people pick the Patriots.
Yeah.
They're like, this is upset alert. The Cowboys going to lose to the Patriots. I'm just saying. Bill Belichick's really smart. This Patriots team has a top 5 defense. And then when the Cowboys win, I'm like, oh, sure. You beat a rookie quarterback who still played great, and you barely beat him. And there's always all these excuses.
Yeah.
No matter who the Cowboys beat and why everyone thought that they would lose to them, once the Cowboys win, Philadelphia, you beat them by 3 touchdowns. Well, you're supposed to beat Philly by 3 touchdowns. And then when Philly goes on the next week and loses by 1 touchdown to somebody, but they beat Philly.
Right.
The Cowboys do it by 3. You're supposed to. There is not a team in the league that any other team is supposed to beat by 3 touchdowns.
Right.
Most of these games are 1-score games either way, no matter how great you are or how poor you are. Most of these teams lose by 7 or fewer points. So if you win by more than 7 points, you kicked butt.
Right.
And if you get the dub and you were dominant in 3/4 of the game, but it was closer than what the reality of the game was.
Yeah.
It's not something that we have to say, oh, you sucked.
Right.
But everyone in the national media keeps trying to put that idea on the Cowboys. And it's because they're stupid.
Yeah. People don't like the Cowboys fans, and I think that's why. I don't, really it's because fans, like a fan is to be a fanatic, and Cowboys fans are fanatics. They believe in the team even whenever the team isn't doing well.
I mean, but that's what you should do. You should root for your team.
Yeah. As I've said many a times, I'm always, I say I'm going to leave because I get so disappointed every season. But year in and year out, I'm still a Cowboys fan. But the way I see it is, as I told people at work when they asked me if we're going to the Super Bowl, we are until we're not. Until the season says that we're no longer in contender, we're going to the Super Bowl. You can't change my mind. It is what it is. You can hate that logic or not. Every team is going to the Super Bowl until they're out of the playoffs, until they're no longer a running candidate. And I actually got that from Gary Owen, because that's what he said why he likes the first game of the season. Every team is going to the Super Bowl at least right before the first kickoff happens. As the kickoffs start to happen, you start to see how your season's going to be. But nonetheless, yeah, it's a true statement. Like, as long as you're still in the playoffs, you have a shot to go. We've seen teams go wild card in and win.
Look, earlier in the podcast, I mentioned that the Packers are going to go through a stretch, or if I didn't mention it, then I mentioned it when you and I were talking pre-show.
Yeah.
The Packers are going to go through a stretch where they end up losing 3 games near the end of the season, because they go probably through the hardest stretch of football games than any other team. Like, where they could legitimately lose 6 games because they're going to face real competition. I don't think they'll lose 6 games in that stretch. I think they'll probably split and lose 2 or 3 games because they're going to be going up against real teams, and they are going to play themselves out of contention for the one bye week. Okay?
Right.
Just because they play themselves out of contention for that one bye week doesn't mean that they're not legit.
Right.
They will not get the first round bye. The Packers will not. They are still elite because they got an elite quarterback. Their defense sucks. That's what's going to ruin them for the year.
Right.
They are not complete. They don't... Look, Aaron Jones is a good running back, but the team as a whole... It has offensive line issues. They have defensive issues. That's going to catch up with them.
Yeah.
But that said, they are not someone that you will sleep on.
Right.
Because of Aaron Rodgers.
I would say Aaron Rodgers is keeping them. You know what? Aaron Rodgers is that edge that Goff is lacking. Where we say, like, Goff is keeping competitive in keeping you in the game. Aaron Rodgers is doing the same, but he's actually winning.
You hear what he told Bears fans?
No, what'd he say? I know he said something, but I didn't hear what he said.
I effing own you. he told them some lady was flicking him off with both hands.
Yeah.
And then he scores a touchdown. He says, I effing own you. I've always effing owned you. I think he's like 23-3 against them all the time.
Yeah, I heard that stat. I didn't hear him, or they didn't report it whenever I was listening to it, but that's fucking awesome.
So, look, that said, understand teams are going to win, teams are going to lose.
Yeah.
And just because the Packers end up losing 5 games this year, doesn't mean they ain't legit.
Right.
Doesn't mean that you should sleep on them in the playoffs.
Right.
But one team gets a first round bye. They are going to get to avoid having to play one of these real teams.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking about Tampa, who I think is going to crash because of age. Yeah. Whether you're talking about the Rams. Whether you're talking about Arizona. Whether you're talking about the Packers.
Right.
I just listed 4 teams right there. Right. Or you're talking about Dallas. 5 teams. At least 4 of those teams are going to be playing in the first round.
Right.
And at least 2 of them are going to be playing each other.
Right.
So one of those elite teams is going home in the first round at least.
Right.
So when you are looking at this season, you want that first round bye. These Cowboys don't need to worry about winning the division. That's going to take care of itself. They're going to lock that up.
Right.
They need to play for that first round bye. So that way they're not the team that is great but got bounced in the first round.
Yeah.
That said, let's wrap this thing up.
All right, guys. Well, you know the deal. Please share, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. That way you don't have to wait for us to tweet out that we've put the new podcast up. Please follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at SleepyJ, SLEEP_E_J. My TikTok has been my new favorite thing that I've been on. So if you guys want to go on there, watch my videos and my nonsense, do that. Instagram is my second favorite. Twitter is something that I get on there from time to time. I'm more active on it right now just because of the football season. But yeah. And where can they catch you, Coach?
I'm on Twitter at RudyV1982. And let all the stupid people listen to this podcast so they can know that they're being stupid and stop being stupid, because I'm tired of these stupid people talking stupid stuff that they know nothing about. And then I go hear them talking and realize, dude, the reason I ain't mentioned any of that in my podcast is because it's a stupid topic. There's no reason to even say it. You guys are stupid, and I'm tired of it.
One more thing. We have some new things that are working in behind the scenes, so look out for that in the next couple of weeks. We'll probably unveil like the things that we're working on, been talking about in the behind the scenes as far as for more podcasts and things like that. In the meantime, I'm out of here. Take it easy.
Peace.